Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Flores, and I'm an assistant professor at the University of Texas at Austin. And I am so happy to be here with all of you this morning, with the young women on the screen who are sharing this space with me. We are happy to see you here on this Saturday in April as we engage in this professional development together in thinking about our teaching and our learning and the work that we do every single day and the impact that you make in the lives of your students. And we first want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for spending time with us and for engaging in conversation with all of us. And I'm here today with members of the Chicas Fuertes book club. And over the past 2 years, the girls and the mujeres on this screen came together around stories, storytelling, books, writing, poetry, and art. And we came together over Zoom during a time when we all needed to find comfort and peace within ourselves and within our homes and communities. And we built a community around books and around stories. And today our talk is called Latina Girls Speak, Consejos from the Chicas Fuertes book club. And something that I'm really excited about today is having the young women, the young girls here to join the conversation. So much of our professional development is adults talking to adults and teachers sharing with teachers. And I think that that is very valuable. And I think that it's also equally valuable and important that we listen to the voices of our young people, listen to the voices of our girls who are aware of the world around them, who are wanting to make a difference and also wanting your support in the process. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to, before we enter into conversation, I invite you to enter with an open mind and an open heart and to take everything in and see how you might use some of what we share next week as you enter your classroom spaces again, as teachers, as literacy coaches, as administrators, and so forth, teacher educators. And so I'm going to introduce the young women who are part of the Chicas Fuertes book club. And we have our book club spans from 7th grade all the way to college and practicing teachers and professors. And so I'm going to first introduce Fabiola Guadalupe.
Hi.
And she's a 10th grader. And Carolina Aliman.
Hey.
And she's a 7th grader. And her sister Natalia Aliman.
Hi.
She's in 9th grade. And London Salinas.
Hi.
And she's an 8th grade student. And Alegría de León.
Hi.
She's a 10th grade student. And Jaquira Vasquez.
Hello.
Jaquira is one of the mentors in the Chicas Fuertes book club. And I am, like I mentioned earlier, Tracy Flores, and I'm also a mentor in the book club. And I want to say, actually, we're all mentors of each other, intergenerational mentors of the stories that we read and the stories that we tell. And we first came together through a program called Somos Escritoras, which is a creative space for Latina girls to write and share their stories and amplify their voices. And that's a program that I founded from my dissertation work that has continued on for the past 5+ years. And we all have participated in this program together. And some of the girls who are here have come back and continue to write with us. And some of them are going to continue to come back as mentors for the new generations of young Latina writers who come to read. And all of us come together around this shared idea of honoring ourselves and our ancestors and also following our dreams. And I want to share a little bit about the, as we were preparing for today, we really wanted to share who we are in our own words. And so I also draw on the work of Dr. Goldie Muhammad and her work in Black Girls Write, in the ways that the Black girls in the writing spaces, the literacy spaces that she works with, created preambles, declarations of who they are in their own words, that also are part of the historical legacy of Black literary societies of women who used literacy as liberatory tools. And so in that similar vein, as we were preparing, we collaborated to co-write this preamble, this declaration of who we are. And I'm going to turn it over to Natalia, who's going to get us started and reading this preamble.
We are Chicas Fuertes. We are women. We are chicas. We are dreamers. We are writers. We are readers.
We honor our creative freedom to write our struggles and achievements. We find peace, community, and partnership through the art of storytelling.
We believe that through reading and writing, we can educate ourselves and others, channel our ancestors, center our experiences, and reclaim our languages, and dream the future.
We see the world through different lenses. We embrace all sides of ourselves. We understand no one is perfect. We are Chicas Fuertes.
And so we share this to anchor our conversation and who we are in our own words and our own voices. And this was a collaborative writing that we engaged in together to let you know a little bit more about who we are and all that we carry with us. And now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to speak a little bit about what we do in the Chicas Fuertes book club, just briefly, by centering the books that we read. And so, like I mentioned earlier, as we were starting our conversation, since November 2020, we've gathered via Zoom, monthly, bi-monthly, depending on how our schedules were, because we really co-constructed this together. We met monthly, bi-monthly to read books featuring Latina protagonists written by Latina writers. And so in these books that are here on the screen, picture books and young adult novels, these books feature Latina protagonists as heroes of their own stories and all the messiness that comes with living bilingually, biculturally, and all of the different ways that we come to know who we are in relation to our families, in relation to our friends, and in relation to what society tries to place upon us. And so we read these books together over the past 2 years. And when we came together, we created art around these books, we created poetry, we created narratives as a way to reflect and respond. And these books held up a mirror, in the words of Rudine Sims Bishop, a mirror to our experiences, helping us to better understand what we'd experienced, and not just as girls, but also as women, and helped us to feel seen and heard. And so I'm going to turn it over now to Jaquita, who's going to talk a little bit about what we do.
Yeah, so what we do at Chicas Fuertes, we share who we are without an apology. The space that we created with the girls, again, like Tracy said, that we're a generation of Latinas who live in the world that forward as bilingual women. So we come to the space really free, able to speak what's on our mind and how we're feeling. We share our identities, our culture, and our language. We also share our joys, sorrows, worries, and concerns, and our books have really kind of honed in on what we were feeling. And again, we found this space in a place where we weren't always able to connect with the outside world, but it was found a very beautiful place where, as Latinas, we were able to connect in a different way. And we also support each other in this safe, brave space, kind of giving everyone the ability to speak their mind and to free flow. Okay. We're able to go to the next slide.
Thank you. And now we're gonna turn over to Alegria, who's gonna share a little bit about, we talked about what we do and who we are, but how do we do what we do in this space?
We gather in comunidad. We open up the space. So we start with usually a quick write-up or just how our week's been going and like one improvement we've made and like the highs and lows of our week. We read and we learn from each other. Latina mujeres y chicas. No one is ever forced to share anything that they don't want to share or that they're not comfortable sharing. We share thoughts, opinions, and work in different ways, including different forms of art, such as poetry, visual art, and writing. as well as like reading different books. And we do this by reflecting on not only the world we live in today, but also past worlds of other people and the other experiences of our ancestors with no judgment. And as Yakira brought out, it's a brave space. So no one's ever judged.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to add one thing, and this is a space that we built together, that we co-constructed, in which we share knowledge, we share experiences, and there's no it's not like this hierarchy. Like, we all come to this as equals, learning from each other intergenerationally. I think that that's one really powerful part of this space. And so now I'm going to turn it back to Jakita, who's going to talk a little bit about the theoretical foundations for this work and why this matters to the space and also to your classrooms.
Yeah. So this book, Side by Side, by Marilisa out last year. It is a beautiful book. Marilisa Jimenez is a associate professor at Lehigh. She teaches English and Latino studies. And it really felt really grounding for our work once I read the foreword, and Tracy and I shared a little bit about our own experiences, both as Latina educators teaching other Latin students, and as well as Latinas growing up in the education system. So I have the pleasure of reading the foreword by Sonia Nieto. She is she's a professor emerita, and she's at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She has a little excerpt by Castillo. It was written in 2019. It says, "Do you remember how old you were when you first read a book that had a character who looked and lived like you in it? Maybe the first book you read was like that, and every book after it, and you've never had to wonder about finding someone like yourself, the people who made you in the books. You've always been right there at the center, at unquestioned." Castillo then adds on, actually, Miss Nieto continues to add on from what Castillo wrote. And she said, "The force of Castillo's question hit me to the core of my being. Yes, I do remember. I felt like shouting. I don't recall the exact year, but I know I had graduated from college and I was already teaching. When I began teaching at a bilingual school, I had read a few children's books about Latinx people, but none of the people like me and my family. It took another 7 years before I read a book that deeply spoke to me as a member of the Puerto Rican diaspora. And it was Jesus Quilon's A Puerto Rican in New York and Other Stories. And it was originally published in 1961. And those stories describe people who could be my family members and neighbors, people who look like me and sounded like me, and as my family. As a member of the other wave of Puerto Rican diaspora that happened in the early 2000s, both what Marilisa Jimenez and Sonia Nieto wrote felt very powerful to me. I, just like Sonia Nieto, didn't see myself written in a book until after I had graduated from college, and I researched and began teaching my bilingual students. And Tracy and I talked about this repetitive pattern that has continued with Latinas and Latinos, and people who identify as Latinx, who they don't see themselves in their curriculum. They don't see themselves as authors who have written a book about themselves and about their community and their language. So we wanted to make sure that the work that we do focuses on that, where we are able to fill in those gaps that our girls don't have in their own.
Thank you, Jakita. And that the space served as a counter space to undo that erasure, to begin to do that erasure that started with our moms and our grandmothers and continues today. However, we are making some progress. And within this space, we were very intentional of making sure that we centered the voices and experiences of all of us in this space intergenerationally. And so now is a good time to reflect on what we've shared so far and thinking about how we came together, the books that we read, our purpose for coming together, who we are, and what we do and how we do it. We are inviting you to reflect and think about a time when you read a book where you felt seen and heard. And we ask you to, think about this and think about, when was it and how did this make you feel? And now would be a time that we would invite you to pause And just do a quick write and turn it on when you're ready to continue learning from the Chicas Fuertes. And so now we're going to hear from the Chicas Fuertes, and all of us have thought about and examined and reflected upon our time together. And each of us is going to share, starting with the young women, the young girls, some reflections from the book club. And I'm going to turn it over now to Natalia, who's going to share.
Hi, I'm Natalia Alaman, and I wrote this poem titled Chicas Fuertes because I just wanted to write about my experience in the book club and Somos, and like how the girls and Tracy and the other mentors made me feel, because it really became like a sisterhood to me. And so I guess this is kind of like an ode to Chicas Fuertes. Chicas Fuertes, you gave me a sense of hope, a beacon of light and opportunity. I felt free and embraced. Because of you, I learned to love me, all of me. In these moments, I felt I could be healed and broken altogether. I felt as though someone in the world understood me and saw me. You showed me what I want other chicas like me to see. I had no limit. I was me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Thank you for your words, and thank you for honoring all of us in your ode. And now I turn it over to London Salinas.
In my reflection, I wanted to go over how I really had a great time at Somos, and how I want to keep on moving forward with Somos, and just how these books and how this group has changed my life. So during my time here at Chicas Fuertes, I was able to read books, which I never would have thought I'd read in a regular school library. I was able to relate and to feel at home with my other club members. I was able to share my work, my thoughts, and feel like I belonged. This safe space is something I will forever remember, as it empowered me to be more of a proud Chica Fuerte. I will forever appreciate everything that we've done together and all the wonderful books we've read together, along with all of our writing and work. We're making history, and I'm so happy to do it together.
Thank you, London. I love the part about, I love all of it, and the part about making history. Alegría.
Yes, this program has changed my view on the arts, writing, reading, poetry. This is the Somos Escritoras was the first time I ever learned about poetry, especially spoken word poetry. So I've been able to learn a lot from this program, and being able to connect to the authors and the characters, not just the side characters, but the main characters. And in reading these books, I was able to find different books by other Latinx authors, and this really like inspired me to continue searching for myself and my culture in other programs and other forms of art. So I've really taken a lot from this, and I've connected with a lot of the girls here and the mentors here, and it's overall it's just improved my connections with the world, because it's allowed me to see that if I can take comfort in this place here, I can take comfort in other places too.
Thank you, Alegría. Carolina.
Hello, my name is Carolina Aleman. The book club was a refreshing experience where I felt like I could open up about anything. The people in it were all so kind, and I felt like I could answer honestly and nobody would judge. It honestly felt so close to home to me. I felt appreciated, and it makes me happy to think I know such people that once again love and support me. They've always been there for me, even when no one else wanted to be.
Thank you so much, Carolina. And we'll continue on with Fabiola.
Hi, I'm Fabiola Guadalupe. My family are great sources of stories and superstitions that came with time. Like Doña Clara in Tequila Worm, she was a storyteller, so we could never forget the origins and the fun stories of how things came to be. But what is most important is to keep this seed in everyone's thumb, so it could keep growing inside of others. If it wasn't from the lack of representation, I would feel less lost, out of place, and different, and other Latinos will remember or understand more where they come from. The stories the books tell are also ours. Ever since Dr. Flores gifted me Tequila Worm, I felt understanding from a book, and it has inspired me to tell others and to even start my own collection. It also reminded me how a single book can make someone feel like they're somewhere familiar and safe, even if I'm miles away from my hometown. These books are like eating a tequila worm. They help cure homesickness.
Thank you so much and sharing the power that a book can have in our lives. Thank you for reminding us of that. Wow. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your reflections and sharing your honoring each other with your words and your poetry and the poetry of your words. And we invite you again to reflect. Think about what questions do you have right now, thinking about everything that you've taken in, thinking about what you've just listened to each girl share about their experiences and what being alongside each other has meant for them, working with the mentors and the text and the space that we created together. We invite you to reflect, and this would be another good time to pause the recording to give yourself some time to think and to write. And then when you're ready to move on. And now the mentors are going to share a little bit about how they came to the club and what we're taking away from it. Chiquita?
Yeah, I feel very blessed to have been able to work with Tracy when I was in the classroom in the 2019-2020 school year. And then I was invited to do Somos Escritoras over the summer in the writing club. And then we gathered together with the Chicas Fuertes. So that, I felt also as a student growing up that I was never able to have the opportunity to read books about my heritage or characters that share my similar culture. A lot of the books that we would read were just general education books. And my teachers never really dived deep into different cultures. And so whenever we had projects where we had to discuss a location, I would always do it on Puerto Rico because I wanted to learn more about my culture and be able to share other people about where I'm from and what makes me me. So I feel like I'm honored to have this space with the young women. They've given me a space where I'm able to connect with the part of me that I haven't been able to connect with people before. They've given me the opportunity to share where I'm from and being able to write about that. They've also given me the opportunity to grow as a teacher. After not being able to be in the classroom, I still feel like I'm able to learn how to be a better educator by them. And then we gathered together to share our thoughts in community and to reflect on the experiences we've written. I shared a picture on the corner about books that I've read in my classroom as an educator, making it a fact that the books that I have chosen for my class accurately reflected them in the curriculum. And then I have a picture of me from when I was in middle school. And so I feel like the Chicas Fuertes and Somos Escritoras healed a part of Chiquita that was left unhealed from college and the experiences that I wasn't able to have. And I feel very honored and blessed to be able to give other students the opportunity I wasn't able to in a space where it feels special and empowering.
Yes, Chiquita, that part about healing right there really is at the heart of how I come to this group and the blessings that I too feel from reading and sharing alongside all the girls in the space and the mujeres as well. And being in the space allows me to look back at that young 6th grade Tracy with the blue glasses who was trying to find herself, who loved to read and didn't yet see herself in books and continued reading and searching, and who then when she was a junior found Jessie by Gary Soto, and that changed her life, changed my life. And I since then have been seeking out any books that I could in which I could find myself and my family and my experiences represented. And this book club has been a breath of fresh air in my life. It has rejuvenated my inner reader. It has restored parts of myself and helped me reclaim parts of myself that I've, thought that I've had to leave behind. And it's been a space in which I learn more about myself, learn about the continued struggles of our young girls, as well as the successes, the joy, and the hope. There is so much hope that I find each time that we come together. And I'm so glad that we have these books now that I so desperately needed when I was that young girl with the blue glasses who was trying to figure out who she was, trying to figure out what was going on with her changing body, and just trying to figure out her place in the world. And so this is a place where, I can grow and step into who I am and who I'm becoming, and continue to become a better educator, a better teacher educator, a better woman, and a better mother to my daughter Milagros. And so now we want to offer some consejos. But before we offer some consejos, we invite you to reflect on your schooling experiences and think about what has been positive and what might you want to change. Because all of us in this room have had some positive experiences, some connections we've made in the classroom, some teachers who've inspired us. And there's also things that we want to change. And so we invite you to, reflect. You can pause the video again and take some time to write about this and come back to yourself as we're in this part of our conversation. And we're going to offer consejos, and consejos are pieces of advice. And this is the way our own families, our elders, share knowledge with us, offer our family history, our family stories as a way to support us, give us knowledge, give us wisdom to navigate the world around us. And we want to share consejos with you as part of our family and part of our presentation. And I'm going to turn it over to Alegria, who will start, and then Fabiola is going to finish with our consejos.
I focus my consejos mostly on my time here and on the thankfulness and gratitude that I have towards the teachers who have led me here, especially to the teachers who have given me a lot of support over the years. And so I wrote this poem. I have found my worth in a place unknown. Here I have found a garden full of women who have supported me, where my gifts have been nurtured, my values seen, my growth everlasting. Here I found the truth, my truth. My hands have become a weapon of true passion. Yes, here I can stand with all my might. Here I can hold my head high. No part of myself denied. No part of myself taken for granted. Here I am a force, strong and honest, loud and in movement. Here, my name is made of pure gold, meant to be valued and treasured. Here, it is not meant for everyone else, but only for me. As it rolls across your tongue with a clean finish, there's no stumbling and awkwardness. Yes, here I can say my name with no fear, no hesitation. Here, in this space, I have been gifted with an abundance of love. I've been gifted with all these women to look up to, all the support, the strong, great, powerful teachers who have given me a space to be me. So now, all that's left in my heart is gratitude for the women who have given me this great gift of a space of our own. Here I thank my mentors, my teachers, and all the people whom are a part of my story, changing me for the better. So all that's left is me sitting and wishing and hoping that soon enough, everyone will find this space too. A space of comfort, a space of love, a space of everyone and everything. Thank you.
Alegria, thank you so much for that gratitude and for honoring everyone who is part of your story and for celebrating the teachers who've inspired you. Thank you so much. And Fabiola.
My consejo is to get to know your students. Growing is such a rough and awkward stage, and we never stop to grow. But it's at between middle school and high school when you start having questions that you never thought of as a child. And it's always good to have a teacher to talk to. It makes us feel more comfortable in our classrooms, and it's just reliable to have, it's nice to have someone reliable to talk to when there's something wrong.
Thank you so much for your consejo. And I want to close out by also thanking all the teachers for all of the love that you put into your work, into your classroom, to make the world a better place and the classrooms a better place for our students. And thank you for being here today. And we hope that you will take our stories and our experiences with you to your classrooms next week and think about how you might continue to try different things in your practice, and what things might you try that might be new, maybe a new book, maybe a new strategy, or just opening up in different ways to the experiences and stories of your students. And so we wanted to offer some resources too, some of our favorite resources. Of course, all of us in this room, in this conversation, met through Somos Escritoras, so we encourage you to find us on the internet and to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We have in-person and remote workshops for Latina girls in 6th through 8th grade. We also encourage you to continue to seek out books that feature Latino and Latina protagonists. I encourage you, Las Musas is one of my favorite place up and coming writers, and they have a really intergenerational mentoring hermandad sisterhood that is also a mirror for the work that we do here in Chicas Fuertes. The Latinx and Kids Lit also offers great suggestions and recommendations for books. And then for continued professional development, the Latinx and Kid Lit's Book Festival. And authors and storytellers and illustrators come together to draw off, which is one of my favorites, and share, writing strategies, craft ideas, and the real about what it means to be a writer. And so we thank you so much for this opportunity to share who we are becoming, what we do and how we do it. And we just thank you for being here today to learn with us, alongside us, side by side. Have a great rest of your day, and adios.
That was beautiful.
We did a thing, everyone. We did our first presentation together.
Everybody.
That was really great. Are all your moms around?